Let's see. All right. Can you guys hear me? Y'all, I've been working on getting better with the live stream. So just let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Let me make sure I have my chat up and I ain't having any delays here. Y'all know. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Can you? Okay. Okay, good, good, good. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hey, sweet lady. Hey, Casey Green. Okay, Shaniqua, Stephanie. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right. Whew. Y'all, I got my new camera and last week I had a little bit of issues, but I've been on YouTube figuring out how to live stream correctly and all that. So hopefully we don't really have any snafus this week. I feel like I'm a little bit crooked, but I'm still trying to figure everything out perfectly. So, yeah, I have a little microphone as well that I'm using. So I want to make sure that I hooked up everything correctly. So how are you guys doing? Let me know, how was your week? Did you guys do your conditioner this week? Your Ayurvedic conditioner? Did you use my deep conditioner? Did you use the herbs? Let me know how your wash day was. I know this delay is crazy. I feel like it gets crazier and crazier each time. But y'all, this is my twist out from the video that I did for you guys last, obviously for Tip Tuesday. Those twists I put in, I literally just took them out like 10 minutes ago. So, um, yeah, this is how my hair is currently from the wash day. My hair is super moisturized and hydrated. So I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited to hear how your wash day went. Hello, Sharon. Hi, Anne. How are you guys today? Sharon says you're beautiful, and so are you. Your hair is beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, from Austria, and you're wonderful. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Hi from Ottawa, Laura Wendy. Are you guys joining our challenge? Or are you just in here to chat about herbs or chat about whatever we want to talk about? Let me know. Are you guys in this challenge? Have you guys washed your hair this week, or I should say shampoo or conditioned your hair this week? We talked a lot about Ayurvedic herbs such as the amla and the aloe, and that was super, super moisturizing. My hair just feels absolutely amazing from that wash day. I kind of don't want to wash it again right now or shampoo it again right now because, like, I mean, these results are bomb. Sweet Lady says she used the amla and aloe powder with the deep conditioner and moringa tea. Looking fresh and moisturized. Your hair is getting so healthy. Looking great. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you tried the amla and aloe. I was curious if anyone was going to try that because, I was just making that like mixture for those who didn't have a deep conditioner, but it really did my hair wonders. And I love the results. Has anyone else in the chat been joining us on the journey, or have you guys tried any Ayurvedic herbs? Do you have any questions regarding them? Okay, let me see here. Tamala says, new to your channel, have been enjoying your teaching. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, welcome. Even if you're not doing the challenge, I teach about Ayurvedic hair care, hair growth, hair loss, how to formulate. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I know we're kind of focused on this particular topic, but, feel free to ask away. See, Crow Girl says, what are the most conditioning herbs? The only time my hair has been soft after using herbs was when I used amla and moringa. So aloe is a really, really conditioning herb. You can also use marshmallow roots. You can use, my brain just said blank, slippery elm. So basically, the herbs I'm naming are herbs that contain a mucilage, and usually they produce like a slippery mucilage, is what I'm talking about. Kind of like how aloe has that like kind of like jelly texture. Those particular herbs also produce like a slippery mucilage. So those are also very moisturizing for your hair. Um, I might be missing one or two. But alma is also very moisturizing. Fenugreek is also great for moisturizing your hair too. Fenugreek is also one of those herbs that produces a lot of mucilage as well. Okay, Naturally Nika says, I went to the Caribbean store and saw some moringa leaves. Thought of you and snatched it up one time. Oh, okay, girl. Yes, I feel like you have a really solid regimen. So I love that if you're gonna experiment a little. Are you thinking about making like a tea with the leaves or you're gonna like grind them down? I'm just curious how you plan on using the moringa leaves. Stephanie says, do your products have these herbs? So my products contain, I can actually just, let me see. Oh, this is my shea bay. But if you, let me go to my website, I can tell you exactly all of the herbs that are in my products. I do an herbal blend that's not just focused on moisture, but I do formulate for moisture. So let me, like my deep conditioner has aloe, has rose water, has horsetail, chamomile, nettle, sage, rosemary, lavender. So that deep conditioner is very moisturizing though. Like if you watched my video from last week, Stephanie, I talk a lot about having humectants infused in any type of products that you're using to really get those moisturizing effects and benefits. So like my O&Aloe deep conditioner is not just focused on moisture, but like scalp issues, itchiness, dryness, hair growth, and all of that. So I get a combination of herbs. So some of like the gloss bars that you see me using or promoting, I do have a Moringa and Amla gloss bar. I have an Amla, fenugreek, and Neem gloss bar, which kind of has some of those moisturizing herbs. And then I have a henna gloss bar. Excuse me. But the henna gloss bar is really good for oh, sorry. I was just eating. I don't want y'all to think I got the vid. But the henna gloss bar is actually very moisturizing because I infuse that, well, all of them with a conditioning emulsifier, oils and butters and also humectants like honey. So everything that I do is really intentional to really lock in moisture. Okay, let me see. Um, I use Ayurvedic glosses every week, every wash day, amla, tulsi, neem, tulsi, rose water, black tea. Love this. I'm not officially in the challenge, but I watch you regularly. Thank you, Sharon. Cherry on top. Those are also wonderful things to use on your hair regularly. I mean, I'm glad that they are working for you and you can do them. And I appreciate you watching and supporting. I do appreciate that. So Rosemary says, what do you think of adding Ayurvedic herbs to clay masks? So, Rosemary, the first week of my challenge, week one, I actually did a mask with an Ayurvedic herb, which was hibiscus. So I think it all depends on the type of clays you're using and the intent of the mask, the clay mask. Sorry. So like if you're doing, for instance, kaolin clay is not as stripping, right, to your hair as maybe like bentonite clay. So if I were to do something and I wanted a little bit more cleansing properties, I might mix a little bit of hibiscus in it. It will also give you some conditioning properties. I guess it's going to be like, what is the intent of adding Ayurvedic herbs and what particular Ayurvedic herbs are you using? I do think that clays can be harsher. Some clays can be harsher, like the bentonite clay. So I think you just need to be real particular on what you're using and why. So maybe you're using the bentonite clay with maybe aloe vera to give it some moisturizing properties. I think you can use them. I think you just have to be intentional and know why you're using it, right? You're not just trying to pack on everything at one time and then say, I'm done, and you don't really know why, or you can't figure out if something is making your hair dry or not. Sweet Lady says Moringa is excellent for internal use. Yes, y'all. I drink it in a tea. Moringa is wonderful for the tea. Drinking it is a tea. Danae says, I have a lot of Ayurvedic herbs in my cabinet. Are there any that doesn't work well together, or is it okay to use a little bit of this and a little bit of that for my deep conditioner? So, Danae, I can't say that some don't necessarily work well together. I kind of what I was saying earlier, I think there needs to be intention in why you're using particular herbs, because some of them can be redundant, right? And I always say, like, for me, whenever I'm trying to formulate something or I'm just using like a herbal mask, I try to focus on three main things: hair growth, hair loss, and scalp, right? So if I'm adding usually three particular herbs to a conditioner, I'm usually focusing on those things. But sometimes I may just want to focus on scalp. So maybe I'll just use like neem or tulsi powder. Maybe I've noticed my hair feels more dry, so maybe I'll just focus on aloe or an amla, or maybe I'll boil something slippery elm. Um, so I don't want to say just mix everything together and use it all, because it could be wasteful, or it could be no, you're using it with no intention. I think it's all about intention of why you're using those particular herbs. And that's why I do, if you guys go back in my videos, I do have particular videos on specific herbs like brahmi, burdock, amla, slippery elm. I have specific videos on those particular herbs, so you know why to use them, when to use them, how to use them. So you're just not, again, just mixing everything and then don't know what's working or why you're using it. And not saying that you can't get beneficial benefits from using them, but you just have no rhyme or reason for what you're doing. And I think you can, if you do a little bit more research, you can be really knowledgeable about it and not wasteful maybe of using certain herbs. Sharon says, I'm loving Ayurvedic treatments. Love it. I'm so glad. Me too. Naturally, Nico says, I'm thinking a tea, but I need to read some more on it. Okay. Yeah, I think I would do a tea personally. I would make a tea from it and I would drink it, and I'd probably do like a tea rinse with my hair with it. But I know you got your little whole thing. Wendy says, I made almond fenugreek and henna powder last Sunday. Okay, yeah, because last Sunday was with the strengthening treatments. How was your hair, Wendy? How was everything going for you? Did you have any dryness? Did your hair from Moisturize? So go ahead. Bia Andra says, I have a formula question. I was making a moisture cream yesterday and it keeps separating. I'm following a formula, but it's not coming out right. I think it is the Optifin that's causing it. I would need a lot more information to tell you exactly why it keeps separating. It depends on what you're using. Sometimes it could be anionic with cationic ingredients not meshing well. It could be Optifin. It could be the temperature you're adding the products in. I mean, it really could be a number of things. I would need a lot more information to tell you specifically which one it is, or make an educated guess, because All right, let me see. Oh, Shaniqua says, my hair is low porosity. How often should I use Moringa in my hair? Shaniqua, that's again, that's a really loaded question. I need to know more about your entire regimen. You could technically use Moringa in your hair every week. It depends on how you're using it. Are you using it as a pre-poo? Are you adding a tablespoon to your deep conditioner? Are you doing a full mask? Are you doing a gloss treatment? I would need a little bit more information with that, because in general, I think most people can do gloss treatments weekly, as long as you're moisturizing your hair, deep conditioning your hair afterwards. Also, how does Moringa powder make your hair feel? Does it make it feel moisturized? Does your hair feel dry? There are a lot of things you want to ask yourself before just saying, like, I'm going to stick with this one herb. And that might be it. Moringa might be perfect. I love Moringa powder. For me, it's a good mixture of moisture and a tiny bit of strength for me. But for you, it might be too strong. So I just need to know how you would be using it in your regimen. All right. Sister Soldier says, I'm a female truck driver. Can you suggest products to use while on the road? So on the road, are you able to like cleanse your hair? Like, are you going to like hotels and you could have an opportunity to like shampoo and cleanse your hair? Or are you just talking about like you're in the car and you need something to like moisturize your hair with? If the latter is the case, I definitely recommend getting yourself like a spray bottle with at least some like distilled or spring water in it, so that you can at least re-moisturize your hair. Also, having a good leave-in spray, something you can refresh your hair with. And then if you have an oil that you can leave in the car, you can re-oil your scalp with. But if you're able to at some point get to like a hotel or rest stop and actually shampoo your hair and cleanse your hair on a regular schedule, Obviously I would suggest that. So if you can just give me a little bit more information. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Good afternoon. Tamala Harrison says, I'm menopausal and have a lot of shedding. What do you recommend? Um, Tamala, I mean, obviously it sounds hormonal, so I would definitely try um, figuring out something to help balance your hormones. Like, so talk to your doctor about what can help you balance your hormones, but also like tea rinses. So green tea, black tea, they contain a lot of like DHT and stuff that can help stop hair shedding and hormonal hair shedding. So I would do probably like tea rinses for your hair. So after you either shampoo your hair and condition it, you can pour a dilution of like green tea, and I would brew the green tea like a little bit stronger. So if you would do usually 1 cup to 8 ounces, or 1 tea bag to 8 ounces, I would do at least two tea bags for 8 ounces. Sorry, that was weird. And then I would pour that or spray that on your hair, focusing it on your roots and scalp and massaging that in, and then doing a final rinse. The Crow Girl says, thank you. I recently purchased all those mucosal herbs. Are there benefits to putting horsetail, slippery elm, and or marshmallow root in a growth oil? Or are they more useful in a water-based solution? So, like horsetail, I really like in an oil, but you can also use the tea. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen any studies that say, I haven't researched them. There might be some out there that say like slippery elm or marshmallow root is better in an oil or better in a water. I will say I typically use slippery elm and marshmallow root in a water, and I usually use horsetail in both. Okay, so I just know like to get the mucilage from the slippery elm and marshmallow root, you have to like boil it. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, water based would probably be better with those. But horsetail you can make a tea out of, and the horsetail you can also get the benefits from in an oil. So I mean, it all really depends. It's just preferred, like that's how I've been using it. But I don't know. I haven't looked up the best research on the perfect way for some of those herbs. I know it's like some of the root herbs um might do better in an oil. Like burdock root, some people, I mean, it might do better in a water base. Burdock root, a lot of people use it in a water first, but I might use like the powdered form in an oil. And the slippery elm, you could use a powdered form. So, I guess it could be, what is your intention of using it? If you want slip-in products, if you're trying to get like detangling benefits, I would say water based. If you're trying to get maybe like yeah, I guess that's how I use it. If you're trying to get detangling properties, I would use it in a water-based solution. Okay, hon, please scroll up. I wrote you what I do weekly. Oh, I must have skipped it. Sorry. Sharon. Um, oh, I did read it, Sharon. You said you use Ayurvedic glosses every week. No, that's good. That's good. Unless you said something else, Sharon. Okay, let me scroll back down. Of the vid. I need something for Stephanie sentences. I need something for moisture and growth. Thanks. Okay. I caught a live family. Hi, Pamela. Hey, girl. Yes, support you all the way from Europe. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Hey, Yolanda. Hey, girl. She said, hey, I made it. Hey, Michelle, last year I asked you, where would you get the bigger sizes of essential oils, but I never got the link you're referring to. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. Yes, let me send that to you now. Some people had emailed me about it, and I forgot who else had said it. And girls, don't let life get to me. But thanks for being patient. So let me just send you this link. Okay. Oh no, did I do something? Oh, don't be weird. Come on. Love me, computer, please. I know. Okay. Let me drop that in the chat for you. Okay. Let me scroll back up again. Okay, Sharon says, I sometimes do an oatmeal rinse before I deep condition, or sometimes I do the rinse right after I condition. It helps with flyaways, frizzy hair. I don't know if someone else also does this. Oh, well, I'm glad. Look, I'm glad that that works out really well. I love oats. Obviously, I have a whole entire oat and aloe collection. Oatmeal is amazing. Has a ton of benefits, rich in B vitamins for your hair. Very, very helpful. So I'm glad. So if anyone else is maybe looking for something, she has high porosity hair, she said. It's just, yes, I watched those specific videos. Awesome. Yolanda says, I'm doing both curly proverbs and your hair growth challenge at the same time. And I feel as if the first week my hair grew thicker because it felt heavier. Is that crazy? It's probably not crazy. It could also probably be a little bit psychological. But if you're still taking like MSM and all of that, like there's potential for your hair to grow, um, even within like a short period of time, like a week. But most people, over time, I think their hair can get thicker and more dense. If you have hair follicles that are not currently active and you start using these herbal treatments on your hair and they regenerate some of those hair follicles, I do know it's possible for your hair to come out thicker. So, yeah. Nicole says, I tried my first henna gloss, other herbs too, but henna mostly, and my hair really responded well. Yay, I'm so glad. I know a lot of people are so hesitant about henna because they feel like it's so drying. So I'm very happy that you used it and made a gloss out of it and maybe included other herbs that can also aid in conditioning or moisturizing your hair. Wonderful. Sharon says, when I was in the exotic hair shop, I actually watched your video on Tulsi powder before buying the packet. Thank you, hun. Your vids are so informative. Awesome, awesome. Yay, yay. I'm so glad. I love Tulsi. I love Tulsi. And I think it's a great alternative to Neem, especially if some people don't like the smell of Neem, or, people can be particular about it. I think Tulsi is really, really great. Beyondra says, can we talk off the live? Yeah, we can talk off the live. Um, You can either, are you on Instagram, Beyondra? You can either Instagram me or you can email me. Shaniqua says, thank you for answering my question. Very appreciative. You're welcome, dear. Tamara, sorry to hear. Well, perhaps black tea. Oh, yeah. Black tea rinse is what I also recommended, Sharon. We're on the same page. Okay, Naturally Nika says, yeah, I'm going to drink the tea. It's supposed to be a blood cleanse. We shall see how that goes because my face trying to fight me right now. Oh, girl. Are you having some breakouts right now? All right. Thanks for answering my question. I need to put a label on each pack of herbs so I know the benefits, so I'm intentional. I almost always use aloe, fenugreek, and moringa. Yeah. That's actually a really great thing. I've been trying to I also do sometimes I'll put them in my brain just froze mason jars. If I'm using them, like when I was using them for myself, right now I go through packs of herbs so frequently because I'm selling products for you guys. But when I was using them for myself, I would put them into the mason jars and then I would put like also how long, the date that I received it. So I know if herbs have maybe are past their expiration date. Um, and then over time I get to know like, okay, this is what they're beneficial for. But I think that's great to say like Neem, great for anti-dandruff, anti-inflammatory, blah blah blah, whatever. So and that will help you over time to get more familiar with the herbs and more intentional with what you're doing. Briche says, hey girl, my hair's been in this awkward stage where it's not falling out, but it's also not retaining length. What would you recommend for this? So, Briche, I think that kind of sounds like you got to look at how often you're manipulating your hair and how often you're protective styling. I will always say this, herbs and all this are just one thing, right? That's just how your hair is growing out. And if you're not having any issues with like excessive hair fall, then that tells me that you're either manipulating your hair too often during the week. So I'd ask you, how often are you protective styling? What type of protective styles are you using? And what are you moisturizing your ends with, right? And sealing your ends with. Nike says, hi ladies, hello, hello. Marina says, I use your Neem Amla and Fenugreek Gloss Bar on my daughter's hair. Her hair responded well to it. However, there were particles left in the hair. How do I prevent that? You could probably rinse it with a deep or like a really leave out conditioner. I honestly, it's very interesting because that is the first time I heard anyone say they still had like particles left in the hair. Um, Usually I try to sift it so that there are no, excess particles. But I would definitely like co-wash our hair after the gloss bar to see if it can help remove some of that from the hair. And let me tell you this as a factor when it comes to all herbs, um, girl, you will always have probably a little bit of particles left in your hair. Now, it shouldn't be excessive, though. It should not be excessive. But I forever have probably little tiny, tiny particles of herbs left in my hair. Someone I saw in another group was just like, well, they were like, oh, I had herbs in my hair. And someone was like, welcome to Ayurveda life. But also just rinse well. Also rinse in sometimes what I like to do if I have like some herbs that are a little bit, I know can leave particles in, I'll definitely like under the faucet. I'll turn it on really well and then work my hair downwards, in a downward fashion to really like and get a little bit of conditioner and run that through. And it usually gets the herbs pretty much out of my hair. Hey Jessica, hey, how are you? Nicole says, yeah, and my hair is high porosity 4C. So I was nervous about henna because it was a but it was a great experience. Yeah. Actually, Nicole, I know that a lot of people with a high porosity hair do very well with henna. Again, because henna it coats the hair strand and it helps to fill in some of those gaps in your hair and really lock in moisture. So a lot of people with high porosity hair do respond well to that. Beyondra says, yes, I'm on Instagram. I follow you. Okay, so just DM me, girl, on there. I usually can get to you better on there. Sometimes my emails be really crazy, especially lately. Sharon says, yes, Tulsi smells great. I kind of like the smell more than the neem powder smell. Yeah, I definitely prefer Tulsi than neem. A lot of people do. So, you know. Naturally, Nika says, girl, I look like a troll. It's so bad, and I've been good with my skincare too. Oh, are you stressed out, girl? Drink tons of water. Drink tons and tons and tons of water. Um, let's see. Great idea. Thank you. You're welcome. It wasn't excessive. I was just wondering if I did something wrong. She's only 2, so it's hard to be as thorough sometimes. Oh, okay, girl. Yeah. It's pretty normal. Hey Faith, how are you? It's been a little while, girl. How are you? Sharon Cherry on top says, I also incorporate fenugreek water in my hair spritz. I mix it with rose water so it smells more bearable. And no, I don't like maple syrup, so I don't like the smell. I'm laughing because I feel like we always have this conversation, whether it's you or somebody else during this chat, about fenugreek because it is like a love-hate relationship for some people. I love it, some people hate it. So, yeah, floral waters and floral scents can help with the smell of fenugreek, and so I'm glad that that is working out for you. Oh, Faith, she said, miss you too, girl, miss you too. I'm glad you're here for a little while. Naturally, Nika says backed up liver will cause skin breakouts. Have you tried a liver detox? Ooh, I don't think I've. First of all, I know you're talking about Nika, but I don't think I've ever tried a liver detox. I do detox occasionally, but I don't think a liver detox. Um, Nicole Banks says thank you. You're welcome, dear. Yolanda says the remaining herbs in the jar, when making an oil, how would you go about using them for gloss when they have fenugreek seeds next to them? So you could either strain it out, like literally dump the herbs into like when you're I just smudged. This is what happens. I never wear eyeliner, y'all. Give me a second. Um so if you pour your into a strainer, like dump all the herbs and stuff into a strainer, it should catch the seeds and then you can pour water and shake the water through it and you'll have the seeds in one thing. Even like with a horsetail, like sometimes I have a horsetail in the oil as well. It'll catch the horsetail and catch the fenugreek seeds, and then the rest I just used and add more water to it. So yeah. Let's see. Danae. Hey Danae. Hey girl. Oh, I'm supporting us always. Hey. That's my girlfriend. I love her. She lives in Boston, so I never get to see her like I used to, but she always be supporting me. So hey girl. Marina Natural says our hair loves the oat and aloe shampoo. Oh yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that, y'all. I've been working on getting some more of the oat and aloe shampoo out, and also working on some other things. I kind of mentioned it last time, so I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, y'all, because y'all will definitely wear me out. And I love it. And I love it. But I'll be having actually another sale very, very, very soon. So I'm excited about that. Um, I do Senna detox often. Okay, she's talking about. Hey, hon, I have to go. It's 8 p.m. here. Take care and stay safe. Nice chatting. Nice chatting with you too. Bye, hon. I'll see you next time. Marina says, I'm going to put everyone onto it, so please keep the great products coming. Okay, girl. Thank you. I will. I definitely will. Let me just make sure that was nobody. Okay. Okay. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yolanda says, thank you so much. You're welcome, dear. Sassy Ruby. Hey, sis. How are you, girl? How you doing? I love the hearts. I hope you're doing well. Oh, Danae and Danae. Look at this. Love your name. I love it. I love it. All right. Does anyone have any more questions? It doesn't have to be, like I said, doesn't have to be exactly about this challenge. We could be talking about any other Ayurvedic herbs, or if you have questions about maybe your hair routine, please let me know. I'm down to stay and chat a little bit longer. Um, M. Ali says, hi from Turkey. Hello, how are you? Are you into Ayurvedic herbs from Turkey, M. Ali? Oh, and I do also need to pick a winner. I almost forgot that fast. Um, okay, let's see. I just asked a question. Nike says I just asked a question now. Nike, what question did you ask? I must have missed it. Did I miss it? Nike, can you repost your question? Because I don't see your question. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if I missed it. Morena says, do you have children? I have a dog, and that's it. Just me and my dog. Well, my husband, but he's not a child. Tanya says, how long after the henna gloss can I give myself a protein treatment? So, how I would ask first and foremost, how often do you usually protein? If you're usually protein every 6 weeks to 8 weeks, then I would wait. Okay, so if you do a protein 3 weeks, I mean, if you do a henna treatment, I would wait like 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks until I do a protein treatment. Um, okay, okay. Paulette says, does regular use of Ayurvedic herbs cause buildup? Um, No, I think if you don't rinse them out of your hair properly, like anything else, it could potentially cause buildup. But all herbs are not created equally, right? But everybody should be rinsing our hair and getting as much out as possible. But if you have a few like granules left in your hair, as most people probably do, that really should not cause buildup. If you're worried about stuff being stuck on your scalp, most herbs actually have a almost like gentle what do you call that, exfoliating properties. Because of the granules, they actually help to exfoliate that scalp to help remove some buildup. Some herbs again contain saponins, which actually really cleanse the hair. They're almost like a shampoo, right? And that's actually what we're going to talk about for this week's tip Tuesday. We're going to be talking about herbal cleansers. Yes, I'm going to be focusing on my Ayurvedic shampoo bar, but I'm going to give you some options of Ayurvedic herbs that cleanse. So it really depends on what herbs you're using, but as long as you're rinsing them out of your hair, you should be fine. Tamala says, best ways to moisturize your ends. So Tamala, actually, it's going to be like for me, I think it's a whole process of shampooing and deep conditioning your hair. Now, obviously, you're not shampooing your ends. Like, I wouldn't, if your ends are dry, but I would make sure your ends are clean and ready and acceptable for whatever moisture you're going to give them. So, I would definitely like shampoo your hair, let that, the soap or shampoo run through the ends of your hair, rinse that out, and then focus your deep conditioning heavily on that. And then, as soon as you rinse that out, depending on what format you like, LCO or LOC, which means liquid leave-in, some type of liquid leave-in, a cream leave-in, and an oil. Now, if you have higher porosity hair, you might prefer a butter to seal your ends with after doing that, but that isn't within like the format that I would use. So make sure it has to have water-based products, water-based first and foremost, okay? And then adding in some type of like cream or heavier, thicker butter to seal and lock in that moisture. Okay. Hey, I almost forgot about that. Hey, Tiffany, it's okay. I hope your day's doing going well, Tiff. Morena says, do you have any experience with how Ayurvedic herbs work on children 2 and older? So I don't have like particular experience on that, and there's not a ton of research, but I do know that a lot of my subscribers, followers, and other people who use Ayurvedic herbs do use them specifically on children that are about 2 and 3 years old. Now, some people will use them in oils, preferably. A lot of people like to use them in oils, or they'll start with one herb on the child and they'll do like a gloss treatment, right? So, I also will say, like, do know Ayurvedic herbs are powerful. So, again, I will say if your child is experiencing some type of hair issues and scalp issues, like, I would really investigate that to make sure it's nothing like internal or anything that's going on with them. But yeah, I think if you're using like all natural stuff with your children, it should be okay. But always, always, always don't use heavy essential oils with them. Um, that's just, in general. So I would definitely say maybe start with Ayurvedic oils, maybe a small gloss treatment, adding in like one herb. Like we'll start with a little bit of aloe, maybe we'll start with amla powder, herbs that don't have too many other like, I don't want to say side effects, but like that are super strong medicinally, is what I'll say. Like you said I told about my bald patches some time ago. Turns out my thyroid is hyperactive. So do you know of any natural remedies for this? Uh I don't know, Nike. I definitely would have to look that up. What did your I have a question. What did your doctor say about that, about your thyroid? So if anyone has any, I literally have not looked up anything about. I know, you know what? I think burdock root is actually great for thyroid issues and thyroid stuff. But I can definitely look it up, Nike. If you wanna email me, I can do some research for you and see what I can find about that. But I'm also curious what your doctor suggested that you do to help get your thyroid under control. Because again, like I could recommend some like topical treatments, but again, if the problem's internal, which is one thing I always say, you really have to take care of the internal first before you deal with the topical, because that's just you're putting a band-aid over, an internal issue. Oh, Tajane says Brahmi for thyroid. Okay. So that's also good. I'm also gonna look it up a little because I really cannot remember off the top of my head. Tanya says, oh my God, thank you. You're welcome, dear. Okay. Nicole Banks says, I'm struggling with preserving my hair cream gels and teas. Must take a lot of preservative. What's the best preservative? I use Lucidal, Optifin, Dermaven, Derma Plus. Okay, so let me tell you this, and I don't know exactly what products you're making, but the thing is, when you're using fresh ingredients, which I'm assuming you're using, those are going to be the hard to preserve things. Now, I'm gonna just reference like teas. If you're brewing a tea, and are you like you would have to self-preserve the tea, not self-preserve. You'd have to preserve the tea separately, okay, before mixing it to any type of product that you're using. All right. So I have a video. I have I think 1 or 2 videos where I talk about this, where it's something that I've learned as well. And this is also why I use Dermaben too in like my DIY stuff that I'm doing, because the stuff that I make for and I sell, I actually end up purchasing from a company because I do not want to contaminate or cross contaminate things for in mass production for you guys. So the most important thing you should know is that you probably need to like double preserve that. You need to preserve the individual tea, and then you need to preserve the whole entire batch of product. Okay. And I prefer Dermaben because it's one of the strongest preservatives out there. but you still need to use it at the percentage recommended, which is 1%, okay? For Dermaben 2, it's 1% of the mixture, okay? So let me know if that helps at all. You're saying you're writing a form. Are you writing a formula when you're making these particular creams, gels, and teas? Because if you're not writing a formula, you really have no gauge of what you're doing and how much you're using. A formula and a scale, two things that you must use um, if you're preserving and you're making these products. Okay, Tanya says, thank you, because I was going to give myself one this week. Okay, wonderful, Tanya. Talking about a protein treatment. Good afternoon, P. Jones. Hey, how are you, girl? Tiffany says, I'm doing well, just busy packing. I hate packing. Oh no, are you moving, girl? Are you moving somewhere? Renee says, hello, everyone. Question, are the Ayurvedic herbs hair products better than regular hair products? Of course, I'm going to say yes, but better in what way? It's all about how people formulate them. I would say how I formulate them, I would say they are better, of course. But honestly, like, again, Ayurvedic herbs have a number of purposes and a number of uses and a number of reasons why people are using them. But just because you're using an Ayurvedic herb doesn't necessarily mean it's better than a another product. It's about what is the use of it. Of course, I'm gonna always say natural is generally better, but again, if you're not formulating the natural product for something that's like truly moisturizing for your hair, or you find out it's drying your hair out just as much as maybe a commercial product, again, it's all about how you use it, which is why I think, like, honestly, and I'm not just saying that, but I think like this 8-week Ayurvedic challenge is really good for those who are learning about Ayurveda and how to introduce it into your regimen, because I'm picking herbs that I know are going to be moisturizing or have these particular properties or these particular properties. And so if you don't know about herbs, I think this is a great way to learn about them and to incorporate them into your regimen. So like I always say, like, it's a loaded question, but not really. Like, do I prefer Ayurvedic products that have Ayurvedic herbs into hair products? Of course, that is my preference. I also say I've seen my hair change the absolute most. But what if I formulate a product that didn't have any humectants and didn't have any moisturizing ingredients, and then I just said, here's a product, right? So it's all about, to me, it's all about how you formulate and how you use it on your hair. I hope that makes sense. Nike says, thank you, you're welcome. Okay, Lorendi says, I've been taking care of my hair for almost 18 months now, and I never made a deep conditioner. Always following with LCO method. I have low porosity, but I definitely have to do it. Okay, girl. Even if you never made a deep conditioner, have you ever used a deep conditioner like from a commercial grade deep conditioner? I'm just curious. Oh, Nike said he's still investigating. Okay. Iodine, selenium supplement, and ashwagandha good for thyroid issues. Thanks, Char. That's great suggestions. Ashwagandha is great too. P. Jones, can you put the name in the chat? Oh, I was like, what did I say? Oh, the names of preservatives. Oh, I was reading the preservatives she has listed. But the one I use, again, if I'm making hard to preserve products, so teas, like something with just aloe gel, I will use Dermaben. Just know that does have 2 parabens in it. But again, I have a video on this and I talk about how small of amount the parabens are. But if you don't want to use that, I definitely will recommend then Germall Plus. I think it's called Liquid Germall Plus. I actually have some. It's on my okay, and that one does not have parabens in it. Okay, so those two are actually they are some of the stronger preservatives out there. So if you literally cannot um, cannot get something to preserve, I would say either it's not going to be preserved or you need to either cross preserve. Like some things I just think like you're never going to be able to sell commercially because it's going to spoil, bad. But I actually have a tea in my fridge that I made this summer and I put Dermaven 2 in it, and it's like contains hibiscus, probably has like 10 herbal teas in there. And usually the herbal teas are some of the hardest ones to preserve. And I want to see if it would work. And so far, and now granted, it is in the fridge. It's been 9 months, and this is how this is how I'm doing some of my testing for things to see. And then I also check the microbial level in it. So just because it doesn't look like it's bad, doesn't mean that it's not teeming full of bacteria. Okay, so yes, it's obviously easy. I feel like with teas, you can pretty much see the mold and see the bacteria in them very quickly. Think about when you leave a cup of tea out on the counter after 2 days, you get the little mold spores in there. So for me, I'm literally trying out certain things because I want to test the efficacy of the preservative over an extended period of time on something that is really hard to preserve. So that is, anything that's like fresh and fresh, it doesn't last. And this is why I tell people, if you're not going to use preservative, 1, maybe 2 weeks in the fridge and throw it out, start fresh, right? And some of the harder preserved things, you might be able to keep it for like 2, 3 months. Maybe you have to keep it in the fridge. And so, like, and that's one thing why I always, whenever I make products for you, like whenever I have products to sell, I buy them from a someone that is actually making them, by a scientist in a lab that can test the microbial levels before I just say like, oh yes, this is great and everything. So I want to make sure that I'm not giving you guys bad products. You guys are not getting bad products at all, right? So yeah, I think preservatives are so, so important. I think testing is so, so important. And also, if you're going to be making things that are hard to preserve, it might be better just to buy, like I said, buy some of that product in bulk. So that way you're not necessarily making it and then worrying about it spoiling. And then you're like, okay, is this good or is this bad? I hope that makes sense. Morena says, thank you for addressing my questions. I hope to see you next week. Yes, I'll be here next week. Yes, I'm moving for my new job. Come help me pack. Oh, Tiff, that's right. I'll come help you pack, girl. If you come help me pack some orders, we'll pack together. Okay. Tiffany says that scares me. Just because it doesn't look bad, it can still be bad. Yeah, it can be. Um, yeah. Let me just tell you, everything has some type of microbes growing in it. It's just there's a certain percentage level that is acceptable, and there's a certain type that are acceptable versus some that are just not acceptable because they are terrible for your body and they can cause a lot of illness and sickness for you. Well, then this is one more question. Do you have any videos demonstrating how you preserve some of your DIY products by putting it in the freezer? I don't have anything that's so I have a preservative video, okay? So I talk about in that entire video. Am I frozen? Oh, sorry. Someone was calling me. Does that okay. I should be back. Am I frozen? Can you guys hear me or see me, or am I frozen on your end? Okay, I am. I don't know why my computer is just not loving me. Okay. All right, so let me do that one more time. It's like someone was calling me and then my MacBook started ringing, so everything maybe just froze up on my end. Okay. Oh yeah, so Morena Natural. I have a preservative video on how to use preservatives. Um, I actually have 2 videos on it. So like the first video is like part 1, and then part 2 is actually I'm making a product, and then in the end I'm actually like talking about preservatives. But if you're going to be using products and putting it in the freezer right away, like let's say we made a gel and or just like some herbal treatment with water in it, and you popped it in the freezer right away. You don't need a preservative for that. The thing is though, if you take it out of the freezer and you're gonna let it sit for days and days on end, then yes, you would need to preserve it. But if you're gonna put stuff in a freezer, you're good without adding a preservative. But then just know when you thaw it out, you need to use it within the next like 24 or 48 hours, right? It depends on what product you're also talking about, but or just leave it sometime in the fridge, if that makes sense. Tanya says, how can you bring the pH up in a product that's already made? I made the aloe hibiscus moisturizer and I tested it after and it was it was made because it didn't have my test strips. I actually have a whole video on how to raise and lower pH of products. If you want to raise the pH in something, you're gonna need something that's probably gonna freak you out, but it's sodium hydroxide. You can also use potassium hydroxide and water. I have a whole video series on how to do that. I'll link that for you guys down below. It's completely safe and normal. A lot of people will freak out when I say sodium hydroxide, but one thing that I think I need for everyone to understand is it's not about, okay, I used sodium hydroxide, therefore I've made a relaxer, right? It's also the percentage of what you use it. And what you do is, and in the video I show you, you make a 10% dilution of it, okay? I know this sounds complicated. It's not. I show you in the video. It's literally super easy to make. And then you literally add, when I say the smallest amount, you're probably adding at like, you get a dropper. You're going to probably add like 1 drop to your thing, and then you're going to test the pH, because what I show you in the thing is how much and how little it takes to raise and lower the pH of things. If you wanted to lower the pH of something, you would use citric acid and you dilute that in water. So I actually have all of that here that you can't see, but it's further up here. I have my citric acid, my sodium hydroxide, and all of that. And you make a dilution of it first, and then you add it to your thing. And you never want to just add it directly. You don't want to just put sodium hydroxide into your product like that. Again, you always make a dilution first of it. And I literally have all that in all the videos that I make. I try to, before I started formulating, and I don't think that everyone knew what I was doing exactly, I really tried to give you guys a foundation of hair care. I tried to give you a foundation of pH. I tried to give you a little bit of foundation of preservatives. And then I started really like getting heavily into formulating. But I really think now maybe I probably should redo some of the other stuff, or talk a little bit more about it when I am formulating with you guys, so that you could understand, like, within, like, I'm not just guessing, I'm not just this, I'm formulating with intention. I'm making products with intention. I'm lowering the pH, I'm raising the pH, or I'm using this particular preservative because it can only preserve within this pH limit, right? It can only preserve between a pH of 4 and 8. And I don't know, I'm just guessing whatever that is, right? And so if you have a product that has a pH of 3.5, that preservative can't preserve it. And it will do no good. So, let's see. Tanya says, okay, I'm gonna just read this real quick. I'm sorry because I went out of order. Tanya says, I saw that video. Yes, it scared me. Was hoping I could use something else. You can use I think the only other thing I've seen is the potassium hydroxide. But again, let me tell you, lye, because lye has a bad name, because lye is toxic and can be corrosive. I'll say this. Lye can be corrosive in high amounts. Lye, we've seen it in relaxers. We know it can chemically change the structure of hair. It can disintegrate bones and bodies and a ton of things. So I totally understand that fear. But the first time I made a soap live for you guys, I was terrified to make soap live because I was my first time really like, not playing, but messing in lye in such a high dose. But honestly, like I said, you only need such a small percentage, and I'm talking about 10%. So if you think about this, and you use 1 gram of sodium hydroxide for 10 grams of water. So like it's such a small, small amount that I think like there is no need to be as fearful of it as possible. At that point, it's not going to be so corrosive that it's going to eat through everything. You still take whatever necessary precautions. But if you're really, and I say this, if you're becoming serious about, making hair products, or, trying to find things that work, I think it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to just make sure you take the proper precautions when you're doing this. Do your research, ask your questions. This is like perfect prime time. Ask me questions about things, and I can try to answer as much as I know. Let me tell you, I still research and read multiple times a week on different things. And as I get to learn more about formulating, I don't formulate for a living, right? This is something I went to school and I studied in school, but like I didn't then go and pursue that. I've been out of school for quite a few years. But I love chemistry. This is my passion. This is what I research on. Um, it's, and I just want to show you that it can be doable though. It can definitely be doable, and it's okay if you're nervous. It's okay if you're scared. I've been there. Sometimes I still get things scared when I'm trying to make new things for you guys, and if it doesn't work out and different things, like I think it's okay to do things a little bit scared, and I think that's fine. um, but again, like I said, I think as long as you do enough research, you take the necessary precautions, you will be okay. And a lot of things, I think, like a lot of people say, like chemicals have such a bad reputation and a bad name, right? And I think it's about learning that chemicals are all around us. They make up who we are. Water is a chemical. I think once we get out of this mode of like chemicals are all bad and realize that we're all made up of chemicals, that we can then like move forward with things. But I mean, that's just my spiel about it. So, all right, let me see if there's anything else that I missed that I want to answer. P. Jones says, thank you for the information. You're welcome. Thank you for answering my questions. You're so welcome. You're welcome, Renee. And it's fine. Look, Ayurvedic herbs, I feel like there's, even the ones that I've shared with you guys, there's just so many more out there. I feel like we're all still learning. So don't worry. We're all learning something new. Laura Wendy says, just the living in Shea Moisture Jamaican black castor oil that I use for LCO. But you said at the beginning, deep conditioner really help you achieve moisture. So I forgot what we were talking about, Laura Wendy. Sorry. Let me see. I've been taking in my, and I never made. Oh, okay. Always following up. But I have to do it. Okay. So that's what we were talking about. But you said, yeah. Yeah, Laura Wendy. So I definitely would recommend getting a deep conditioner, buying one or making one. Whatever one works best for you, I definitely would incorporate that in your regimen if you're looking for really added moisture. For me, that really, really, really changed the game for me. Nicole says, thank you, very helpful as always. You're welcome. P. Jones, off topic, which is worse, moving or painting? Moving. I think moving. I hate moving. Good God. I've moved so much in my lifetime. I probably have at least one more move in me, y'all. Okay. Everyone said I'm not frozen. Oh, Sherry Bryan says, I honestly couldn't believe how much slip you leave in your hair in it because it's so watery. Oh, my leave-in. Okay. I couldn't believe how much slip in your leave-in because it's so watery. But I love it when I refresh my hair with my curls were popping like crazy. And the moisture was for days. Yay. I'm so glad, Sherry. Yeah, I love that leave-in. It's definitely got a good amount of slip in it. Fendile, good evening. Watching you all the way from South Africa. Hello. Thank you. Naturally Nika says, all pH balancing, good times. You already know, sis. You know. This is my fellow chemist in here. We always be nerding it up. Tanya says, I saw that video. Yes, it scared me. I was hoping I could use something else. Yeah. Tamala Harrison says, if you use an oil to seal your hair, how do you moisturize or get anything to penetrate afterwards? Okay. So Tamala, this is a really, really good question. Anytime, and this is why I recommend that people who are using oils for their hair to still always follow previously with some type of water and water-based ingredient that usually contains some type of emulsifier in it. And I say that because that also really helps to leave your cuticles or leave your shaft readily acceptable to add more water. Now, there are some oils that don't allow your hair to be like repenetrated like mineral oil, right? So once you put that on, that coating's on, you really need to shampoo your hair again to re-moisturize your hair. But one of the benefits of using something that like a water-based, like my leave-in, for instance, I have an emulsifier in there, which means it allows the water and oil to bind together. So when you re-moisturize your hair, even if you put an oil on, you can still re-moisturize your hair afterwards, okay? Now, I would say this, there's always going to be a limit in which you could re-moisturize your hair before your hair just can't take any more water, can't take any more moisture to it. So, and for everybody that's different, right? I have not only do I have low porosity hair, I have fine strands. So my hair gets weighed down pretty easily. Not as some other people, right? Because I can still put on sometimes like pretty heavy products and it's not like heavily weighed down, but it still allows me to re-moisturize my hair maybe one, maybe two times a week before I know it's time to shampoo and cleanse my hair again. For other people, they after one time their hair is like, nope, I need that shampoo, I need that cleanse. So again, I think it's two things. I think it depends on the type of oil you're using, right? Some of the lighter oils, like the oil I have in my leave-in, is just avocado oil. Uh, I chose something light but moisturizing, and that way, even if you sealed with an oil, you will still be able to re-moisturize your hair with some type of water or water-based leave-in. Because of that, because a emulsifier still helps to bind that water and oil phase together, so you can still re-moisturize your hair. Um, and then, like, if you're using something really heavy that doesn't allow you to re-moisturize it, then you should probably shampoo your hair and start fresh again. Oh, naturally, Mika. She said 1 gram is like 4 or 5 tiny pellets. It's minuscule. Exactly. Preach. Hi, Danielle. How are you, dear? Casey Green says, if you use Olaplex now and three, Nop and three, how often would you recommend to do a henna gloss? Casey, I'm not sure if you use Olaplex. I'm not sure what are you saying 1 and 3? I don't know what you mean. If you use Olaplex, I don't know what that is. Nop, N-O-P? Are you saying 1 and 3? How often would you recommend to do a henna gloss? How often I guess what I'd say this. How often are you doing an Olaplex? Um, is your hair colored? Is my second question. And are you experiencing any like shedding or breakage even while using Olaplex? And if that's the case, again, I would alternate those like at least maybe 4 weeks apart from each other. P. Jones says, yes, we have a mad scientist mindset about chemicals and we run like hell. Yeah, I know, P. Jones. It's so common, and it's okay. I think we all have that initial fear of things, so it's okay. Lorindy says, I'm going to purchase yours instead of something else on Amazon. I'm excited about it. Thanks for responding. You're welcome, dear. Tanya says, thank you. I so appreciate you taking the time. You're welcome. I have gynecomastia, tummy solution. Shreyas, I'm not sure what that is exactly. I can definitely look it up. Can you maybe describe to me what you might be experiencing? Are you having hair fall? Is it due to some type of issue? Can you be a little bit more explicit? I don't know what that condition is, so I don't know if I can help you. Danielle says, I'm doing the challenge. I feel like some herbs are drying to my hair. Okay, Danielle, that's actually very, very common. Do you know at what point your herbs? Do you know at what point your hair felt dry? There are some drying herbs, right? There are. Um, was it week 1? Was it week 2? When did your hair felt dry? How often are you deep conditioning your hair? And I'll tell you this, for everybody and anybody, especially if you're beginning an Ayurvedic journey, it is very common for your hair to feel a little bit dry in the beginning as you get more accustomed to using herbs into your regimen. So you might need to just cut back a little bit on it. So like I suggested last week, if you were using technically like a full gloss bar and maybe that was too much for you, what you can do is use a full gloss treatment instead. So I would use maybe like a quarter of the bar, mostly the conditioner, and do the treatment like that. Okay. Because I get it. Like I'm someone who's been using herbs for years now, and my hair, it does fine with pretty much anything I use on it. But it took my hair time to get set level because understand that I also follow up with so much moisture that my hair never feels dry, right? I don't really ever go through periods where my hair is dry. But this also comes from years and years and years of being natural and knowing my hair and listening to my hair. And so yeah, uh that's my spiel. Sherry says, actually, I love all your products. Your glass for us both, your deep conditioner mask and a shampoo bar is out of the world moisture for days with everything. I'm so glad. Thank you, hon. I'm so glad everything is working so well with you. When I say like, I really try to take my time when I formulate all my products, from my twist cream, the deep conditioner, the strengthening treatment. a ton of research on ingredients, why, and like I have a thing about why ingredients matter. You guys will see me make a version of the products way before they ever come out and they're ever sold. You can see why I'm using particular things. And so, like always, I'll try to always continue to be, very open about what I'm using, why I'm using it, to help you guys out. And if you guys, I always say, if you never buy a product, at least if you're buying products in the stores, or maybe you decide to make your own, you actually know why you're doing it, what you're using, why you're using it. To me, that's most important. I think for Black women, we just have been given whatever for so long, and we've just been taking and using whatever. And now it's like, no, I know what I'm using. I know why I'm using it. And this is what I'm looking for, right? And I think we also can get out of that mindset of saying that just because I can't pronounce it doesn't means I don't need to be using it, because I think that's such a false sense of um of wrongness. I don't even know what to say to that, because like there's so many things that I can't pronounce that are so good for my hair, so beneficial for my hair. And without them, again, like half the emulsifiers that are on there, I couldn't read before. I maybe couldn't say their exact names, but they're conditioning for your hair. I also think about some of the herbs. I can't say half the names of some of these herbs, but they also have so many wonderful benefits. So I really think education is so important, and it prevents you from just, saying, I don't know what this is, so I don't want to use it, or I know what this is, and I can make a choice to say, I like this product, or I don't like this product, or I know my hair likes these ingredients, or I know my hair likes aloe, or my hair hates aloe. I like shea butter, I hate shea butter. It's really about really learning and being intentional about the products that you make or the products that you buy. Okay. um, Lily says, hey, what oils or moisturizer are best for split ends? Okay, so I actually have a video about split ends. And let me tell you this, hun. The best thing you can do for split ends are trim them off. But but don't just trim them and then don't fix or take care of what maybe caused them in the first place. Okay, there's probably more, but in the video I talk about 5 particular split ends that are really common, right? They're the regular split ends at the end. There's some that are like the holes in the middle of the strand, so like maybe you'll have like a mid shaft split. So what I'm going to recommend is, obviously, if you have split ends, you have to trim them off. You don't have If you have split ends high up, you don't have to just go and big chop right away, right? I think it's so important to build a regimen. Build a regimen of moisturizing, deep conditioning, protein treatments. And I know for a lot of people, they're skipping those protein treatments, and that can be causing the split ends. If you're using heat, if you're using chemicals, if you're using dyes, um, those can also aid in split ends. How often are you moisturizing your hair? I definitely recommend the LCO or LOC process. That's your liquid leave-in, that's your cream leave-in, and that's your oil. Okay, so I could say, Lily, if you have split ends, look at your current regimen. How often are you moisturizing your hair? How often are you protein treatment? How often are you deep conditioning? Okay, because those are going to set the foundation for getting moisture into your hair. And then, of course, I'm going to say, if you know your porosity, that's also very helpful. You might be someone who needs a little bit of heavier butters or oils on the ends of your hair. A lot of us, the ends of our hair tend to be more porous because they're the oldest part of our hair. They've been through the most wear and tear and damage and rubbing against our clothes and things like that. So, for some people, and I don't know your hair type, and then it's not about hair type. I don't know. I will say your hair profile, which means, do you have fine strands? Do you have medium strands? Do you have coarse strands? Are you using heat? How often are you deep conditioning? How often are you protein treatment? Those things I would say matter, like getting yourself a good routine and then finding products that like really work for you. So I would say, I'm someone who's a fan of cleansing, shampooing, moisturizing your hair once a week. Now, some people that doesn't work for, but that's a really good foundation to start, okay? So for me, it's like Sundays, I shampoo my hair, I deep condition my hair every single time, and I follow up with liquid leave-in, cream, and oil. Now I have my entire products. Sweet Lady shared my website and link in the chat for you. I have a really good leave-in conditioner for your hair strands, a nice moisturizer, and I have a range of oils, but oils that are great for like leaving in your hair. Sweet almond oil, avocado oil, babasu oil. If you want something a little heavier, castor oil. Then you have like shea butters, and I'm just randomly naming some. There's a ton more that you can use. It really depends on like what's what are you doing with your hair. Okay, I see you also had commented that I also created a cream watching video. What is the process to creating my own brand? Um that's I mean, that's a loaded question, but like for me, I think I'm glad that you're able to create a cream video, watching my video. And I think it's very, a lot of people get to see how easy it can be to actually formulate a hair product. But one thing I want to make sure you understand is um, the science behind why I'm using particular ingredients. So if you can find someone who's either doing a formulation class or take a formulation class to really understand what is being used, why, preservative systems, um, and all of that, I think that will give you a really good foundation. I think my videos are great if you want to make a couple of products here and there. And yes, you could technically make probably a whole line from everything that I have, but I don't think if you don't understand um, the reasons on why I'm using things, if you don't understand anionic ingredients to um, cationic ingredients, if you don't really understand those things, if you don't understand pH, if you don't understand preservative systems, you can really find yourself in a really crazy situation. So I definitely would say first and foremost, if you're going to be formulating, take a formulation class and really understand that process. And also, Lily, I think a lot of people, and I know I have a lot of newer followers. A lot of people think that I just like start selling hair products and all this other stuff. Was I first built my brand and my following by being me, right? By coming in, by sharing, by trying to be helpful, by doing that. And then people basically were like, you should really sell your products, right? And so you kind of got to build your community before you just go in and say, I want to create my brand and do all this wonderful things, because why would someone buy from you, right? And I think this is what happens to a lot of like smaller brands that come out, right? They are super ambitious and they come in, they're like, okay, I've taken this formulation class, I have my base products, and usually they start out with 3 or 4, and I'm like, wow, like that's a lot, because think about it. Would you buy from someone you didn't know, and you didn't know if the product worked, you didn't know them, you might, right? You might, but usually we go for things that we know, right? We go to the store, before this, you buy Shea Moisture because you've seen Shea Moisture, you know the brand and blah blah blah. So you buy what you know, right? Because you've seen the reviews and all this other stuff. So it's really about, if you're going to start a brand, I always say really build your community first before you try to sell something to somebody. Um, I never want to say like don't go in this thing with just about making money, but I really feel if you just go in it for making money, it's really gonna be so much harder, right? Because like I said, I came into the game like, did I want to eventually make hair products? Yes, but did I know the process exactly? No. Did I even know it was all about building community first? No. It's just something that along the way that I've learned and I've seen, and I've watched other brands also come in and go, they don't ever like prosper because they didn't build that community around them, and they struggle because they don't have that community, and they're trying to promote something, and I'm sure their products work wonderfully. Like I don't, you know what I mean? But it's like I don't want to, some people are like, I don't want to buy it. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I even think about, for me, I have people who ride for me and love me, and still some people are like, I don't know if I want to purchase the products. And that's totally fine, but I always say like creating a brand is more than just, being able to formulate a product. It's really about, I think, creating a whole entire complete like system, following friendships, collaborations, all of it together, and then promoting, and creating your brand and selling it. I know that was a lot. You're probably like, oh, I didn't want all of that, girl. But that's just my take on it, and I also just, I've been an influencer for, I guess, actually at the end of this month will be 3 years. And I came in this not knowing what I even wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help. I knew I wanted to give back to the natural hair community, and I knew that I wanted to promote women with type 4 hair. I just really felt like, especially for me, I really started on Instagram. I saw so much people with looser hair texture still being promoted, and I thought, wow, that's so crazy, because I started in the natural hair game like 13 years ago. And that was like what was still being promoted back then. It was just the looser texture, the looser hair. And I thought, wow, 10 years later, and we're still in the same pattern and the same cycle, which is why, I felt like I had a lot to give, and things end up transforming into what they are today. But I also like just to let other people know, like, this is as much as I love to do this, but it's I didn't necessarily have come in with some intention of like, all right, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna at this point. And honestly, it wasn't until the pandemic happened and everyone was like, we're not gonna formulate products, girl, that I really kind of like started selling and making my own products. And I feel like some people might not know that my story behind that because they just came in right now or they started following me a month or two ago and they think that I've, been maybe doing this for years on years on end. So yeah, that's just kind of like the long the long answer to your question. Okay, where was I? Mona says, what is the best way to maintain moisture in mini twists? So for mini twists, are they with your own hair? I would definitely recommend like a nice spray leave-in conditioner. And I would probably hit that leave-in conditioner a couple times a week. If you need something a little bit more, you can also seal with a light oil to help lock in that moisture if you find like you're losing it as quickly as it's being added. So also when you're initially twisting your hair, making sure that you have enough moisture in your strands when you first twist them. And also, Mona, how often are you leaving your mini twist in? Um, Naturally, Nika says, having the education to know what's good and what's bad is so needed. We tend to be left behind because of it. Yes, yes. Um, Danielle said, I learned the hard way. I say start with herb like fenugreek and amla. I think they're gentle. J&G on Fire says, what would you recommend for hair that has been damaged by a blow dry experience? Oh, blow drying, heat damage. Oh, no, you just like spoke to a hard part because um I've definitely experienced heat damage, and honestly, like you probably will do better with some strengthening experiences. And I don't know how bad maybe your heat damage is, because some of that just may be with trimming away. But I would focus on strengthening herbs and strengthening things. So um if you don't, I was going to say henna, but if you don't want to do henna, I would say maybe like cassia, maybe like fenugreek. You want a good balance of strength and moisture. So maybe start with fenugreek. Fenugreek is great because you can add like warm water to that and get a good mucilage forming. So that's going to give you that moisture and some nice amount of strength to your hair. Or you can use like a strengthening conditioner formulated for damaged hair. I have a great strengthening hair mask that has proteins in it and amino acids that can help to restore dry hair and damaged hair. But the hard part is that depending on how damaged your hair is, it's probably going to need to be trimmed away. I don't know how bad it is, but that's unfortunately the case a lot of times with heat damage. That's what happened with me. I went to a hairdresser who just completely fried, I mean, completely. And unfortunately, as much moisturizing I did, deep conditioning, strengthening treatments, and all of that, once the damage is really done and it's completely messed up the curl pattern, there's usually no fully repairing that. So, um, yeah. As my sister was on the chat, she just says, "Hey sis, hey Alethea, how are you?" Um, Sugar says, "Is doing PhD is good." Okay. Naturally Nika says, "We are year twins." Hey girl, hey. There is a YouTuber called Curly Chemistry that's really knowledgeable, and she's a hair chemist that encourages people to contact her if they want to start their own line. Yeah. Sherry, I think that's really, really, really important. Yeah, like I always tell people, if you're not a chemist, I do think that you should either take a formulating course or work with a chemist in some form or fashion. Yeah. Lisa says, thank you for the advice with both questions. I have to find out the porosity of my hair, and I did have color, but I cut it out. I do need to moisturize and deep condition often. Okay. I will look into formulation classes and build a community. Perfect, perfect. Okay, Mona says a month or more I leave the twist in. Okay, are you washing your hair in the twist or like shampooing and conditioning your hair? I know some people are afraid to, but I always recommend that if your hair is dry, you have to cleanse and condition your hair. And if you don't want to do it maybe every week, maybe every 2 weeks, and then still use some type of leave-in spray and maybe a little light oil to seal in those ends. Let me see. Let me see. Sherry says, "You're right about starting your own line. I believe you about this, not just being about money for you." Yeah, Sherry, like it's 100% a passion. It's 100% about helping and giving back. I always tell people like go through my channel, go through and see how much free information, recipes, help, like ingredients, all this that I try to give people, like that's love, yo. That's love. And a lot of people, some people message me and tell me like I would never give away that much information for free, right? And I get it because some people, like I said, they will take years doing, or not years, months doing like formulation classes and all this. And I'm like, if it really was about the money, it could be a whole different story. That's all. All right, J&J says, oh, J&J Flower, it's breakage and gaps mid strands. Oh, yeah. Okay, what would you? Oh, honey, if you're having breakage and gaps mid strand, I will, first of all, I recommend getting a trim, maybe like a small cut, if you can stand a small cut, and then working your way back to health. I never tell women to just chop off all your hair and start from scratch, because a lot of us and a lot of people are not there and they're not going to do that. But I think if you can trim your hair slowly to help get rid of some of that damage, again, I think fenugreek, I think honestly you probably need like full on protein treatments. Apogee has a full hardcore protein treatment. It's their not the 2 minute, they're two-step reconstructing protein treatment. That is a strong protein treatment. What I have is a strengthening mask that has protein and conditioning herbs. But I think when someone is having like severe breakage and damage, do a hardcore one because you have it from heat, and then make sure you follow up with a moisturizing deep conditioner, etc. And then from like the weeks out, you probably need to do one every like 2 weeks, like a strengthening hair mask every 2 weeks. So get your hardcore protein in, and then maybe follow up with smaller protein strengthening treatments. Like I have like my strengthening hair mask every like 2 to 3 weeks to kind of like replenish your hair. Make sure you still locking in that moisture, preventing that breakage and stuff, and go from there, because you're going to get the perfect balance of moisture and strength in my hair mask. But I think like to really stop dead that breakage right away, do that hardcore protein treatment. Um, okay. Mona says, I haven't washed it since I put it in. I'm struggling from, oh, Jesus. I scrolled up too far. Okay. I haven't washed it since I put it in. I'm struggling from a lot of breakage no matter what I do to my hair. Okay, Mona. So I would definitely shampoo and condition your hair. And then like, what are you moisturizing your hair? I guess maybe I should ask, what are you moisturizing your hair with? What are you using on your hair right now? And is it breakage? So you're seeing like small pieces and it's not like full length pieces. Like you don't see a white bulb on the end. I just want to make sure it's not shedding, and as opposed to breakage, because breakage is like little. I call them the little C's. You see the little C's everywhere, like in the sink and everything. That's definitely breakage. If you see long pieces with a little white bulb on the end, that's shedding, and that's normal. But if your hair's in twists, um, I guess you probably wouldn't see the full pieces. So if it is full on breakage, I would definitely need to know what products you're using, um, and how often what's your current regimen? What are you currently how often are you currently moisturizing your hair? And also I definitely recommend probably shampooing your hair and deep conditioning it. Deep conditioning it. Okay, with steam or with heat. Kind of, if you want to know what I'm talking about, check out my video I just did on Tip Tuesday about deep conditioning your hair, okay? Tiffany said, but that's why you have the community you do. You are so nice and welcoming. Thank you, Tiffany. I try really to be helpful. I really do. Kingda Clark, one of my friends just sent me a text message. Mate, look, it's either her or us. Women come and go, but friends are for life. She's black, so she's only after your money. Choose us. Okay. It's very weird. Naturally, Nika, I remember when people said being a chemist would limit our opportunity, but look how much we reach. But how much reach we have. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Um, I think being a chemist is amazing, and I think learning about it, you can still learn about it. I think there's so much. There's so much that we can do, and there's so much research that we can share and help each other out, and especially in the Black community, I think that's like it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay. Thank you, sweet lady. She said, please thumbs up the video, share and subscribe. Thank you, dear. Faith Amani says, um, I came across that your Sephora. Can you tell us what we need to do for you to get credit? I wonder, is it still can you still leave a testimonial? I didn't even check to see if that has closed yet. Let me take a look. Basically, you would just leave a testimonial saying if I've ever helped you. Okay, yeah, it's still open. Okay, good. If you like to support, you can definitely, I'll leave the link in the chat. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up. Community. So basically, if you guys would like to, you can leave a testimonial if I've ever helped you with anything, why you watch my channel, why you support me, um, in the link that I just provided there. It will help me to maybe possibly get a long-term partnership or ambassadorship with Sephora. So yeah, so I submitted to be part of the Sephora squad. It would just give me more opportunities as an influencer, as a person. Y'all know I'm trying to do this full time. So, one day, one day I'll give up my 9 to 5 so I can do this full time. This is really my passion. I love to help out everyone. So, yeah. Naturally, Nika says that Apple G2 step is like a gun punch of strength against breakage. Nika, it really is. And if someone is telling me that they're like suffering from severe breakage, I immediately tell them like, all right, okay, let's skip to the skip to the thing and get to that Apple G. It's strong, and like I said, I wouldn't use it every 2 weeks, but I think every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, if you're suffering from something like breakage, yeah, that will dead it in its tracks. Mona says, I use rose water every other day and a hair tea every other day. I use shaving oil to seal. Little pieces at the end of my hair break off. Oh, honey, it sounds like you need something more moisturizing than that. So, Mona, I would definitely use some type of cream leave in before I add in the shaving oil. So the rose water is fine. I would also maybe stop with the hair tea. I don't know what hair tea are you using. What is in the tea? The tea could be too strong, or too strengthening for your hair. So I would use a rose water. I would use a cream leave-in. So y'all, I have a twist cream, that is, of course I'm gonna say it's the best, but it's super moisturizing for your hair. As y'all know, I pretty much leave my hair in twists pretty exclusively. Like I said, I actually untwisted my hair for this live because my hair was in twists. Um, it gives like great definition, hold, and moisture, and then I would seal in with some type of like your shaving oil. I think you need a middle layer of moisture in between those two pieces, okay? So, yeah, that would probably help. Also, I would definitely shampoo. Honestly, this is what I would do today, Mona. I would shampoo my hair immediately, not immediately, but I would shampoo my hair and I would deep condition, shampoo focusing on your scalp and letting it run down the ends of your twists. I would deep condition with steam or with heat with a plastic bag, 30 minutes minimum or maximum, maybe 45 minutes maximum. Rinse it out, and then I would spray a little bit of rose water. I put a cream leave in, and then seal with your oil. Okay. I think right now you just need a hard reset, and I would just leave out the tea. And I'm not sure what is in your hair tea because sometimes hair teas can be a little bit more strengthening if you're using it that frequently. But it just sounds like you need some type of like a cream moisturizer before you add anything else. Oh, hey, Kim. She said your hair is beautiful. Hey, Kim's my girl. This is my baby girl. I love her. She's not a baby. She's a whole grown woman. She's like my auntie. Like she's helped me out so much in life. I love her so much. Thank you, Boo. Thank you. My hair is it's a twist out. Sherry says, I had breaking mid-strand also, and henna and deep conditioning was life for me. Letting it grow down while I slowly trim. Perfect. Yes, yes. Um, that's like henna has the same, similar, I won't say same, but it's very, very similar to like protein. It really adds that layer, helps to fill in gaps in your hair strand, and allows you to, again, work your way, trimming it out, all out. Because unfortunately, when it's damaged like that, you gotta get those scissors, sis. I know, I know. Hey, Bella and Bloom, how are you, dear? She's so sweet, y'all. She also is does Ayurveda, and she also has a hairline with Ayurvedic products. And I love to see other Black women, doing and promoting their life and living their life. Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany said I left my testimony. Thank you so much, dear. Nika says, I really hope you get it. Thank you. Me too. I'm really excited. I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. I'm really ready. Virginia says, my scalp gets itchy and inflamed easily, even after a clarifying wash day. I've experimented not using products near and on my scalp, but still get 1 to 3 sore bumps. How can I combat that? Virginia, it sounds like you might probably should go to your dermatologist, but maybe you have a form of folliculitis, or some type of something on your scalp that might be causing this particular like itchiness and things. He might be able to recommend to you maybe some type of shampoo that can help rid that. He could also test to see if you have any type of additional bacteria on your scalp. I know I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you might be having something on your scalp that's adding to this issue. One of the herbs that I love to use that has a ton of anti-inflammatory and all that we talked about is Neem. But I would definitely talk to him first. But neem powder has, again, antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. So even like people who have lice, people who have scalp bacteria and stuff, neem can definitely help with that. But definitely figure out what is causing that. Because a clarifying wash, if there's something else like going on, it's not going to stop that. Faith and Money says, I will definitely leave you a positive feedback. You're so helpful. You make me feel like I've known you as a friend. Thank you, sis. I'm so glad. I feel like we're like this whole community now. And I really feel like once I've been going live, we just like confirmed, just like, I don't know, locked in our friendship. And I love it. I really do. Linda says, I wish you luck with the Sephora deal. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will leave a good feedback. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Let me see. Hi, Michelle. When your hair is breaking in or shedding, will your hair come out in your texture or just loose? Will your hair come out in your or just loose strands? For example, my texture is 4A, and most of what I come out of my hands is curly hair. I'm Leandra. I'm a little bit confused, but are you saying like, will your hair be still like curly when it comes out? Your hair, if you're losing your hair by the complete strand of your hair, it should be the same texture as your hair that's coming out. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm misunderstanding, but if that's what you're saying, like I definitely think whatever texture your hair is, when a strand falls out, that's the same that would come out from your hair. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry. maybe I'm silly. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. You just maybe clarify, and I'll try to get back. Mona says, I use henna, fenugreek, rosemary rose, and shea tea. Where I live, I can't get a good hair cream. What natural deep conditioner would you suggest? Oh, so Mona, your tea is probably not probably. Your tea is very, very strengthening. It's probably a lot to use on your hair regularly. So, Mona, where are you in the world? Because if you can't find one, I would say make one. I'm definitely, if you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll through DIY, I think it's DIY conditioners and creams or creams and conditioners. I have a ton of recipes that you can DIY and try to make for yourself. Some are easier, some are a little bit more complicated, but I think something like I think what you would probably like is the hibiscus and aloe, like moisturizing leave-in that I have. It's like a almost like a jelly type texture that you make, and use like hibiscus, and you use obviously aloe, and then you use what is it called? Xanthan gum. Sorry, good gosh. Xanthan gum. Or if you can't find xanthan gum, you use guar gum and use oil, and then you blend that together and you make like a jelly, like leave-in cream that you can use and twist up your hair with to add more moisture. Um, I also have deep conditioner recipes. Some of them might be a little bit harder to formulate. I'm not sure. Where are you located? Where in the world are you, Mona? Where in the world? Down Blue says, I'm doing good and you look beautiful. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Virginia says, thank you so much for your constructive response. Thanks for all you do. You're so welcome. Is there anything with the leftover herbs for making tea that I drink? I take a cup of tea every day and throw them away. Seems like a waste. From the teas, I mean, you could compost them and use them for compost for plants and stuff. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it really depends on, are they organic? I guess if you're drinking it, they're probably safe to use in your hair. I never thought about that. Maybe make a mask and throw it in your hair. I guess it depends on what herbs you're drinking. That also could be the case. Are they finely ground? Are they gonna rinse out easily from your hair? Um, Maybe brew an extra cup of tea for your hair. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I never thought about it. Hi, Sun is Hot Raw. How are you? Ma'am, I'm from India. Hello from India. How are you? Can you tell me how I can make my hair thicker? Oh, thank you, sweet lady. Sorry. I just saw her response too. Yeah, so technically, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, you can't technically, I want to be clear, make your hair thicker. Maybe you can coat an individual strand by using like henna or cassia or ziziphus powder. That can add a layer or a thick coating around the hair strand to help make it a little bit thicker. It's not going to be like night and day thicker, like, oh my God, my hair's so thick. You can possibly see thicker strands if your hair follicles currently are dead, and then you start using Ayurvedic herbs and your hair can like grow hair back in those hair follicles. Like a lot of people will say when they first start using Ayurveda, they notice that they have like little, and I did too. I don't have it now because obviously I've been using it forever, but I was just gonna see if my edges had any like new pieces. But sometimes a lot of people said they started noticing like little 1 inch strands all over their hair, right? Little 1 inch strands all over. And that's from those hair follicles that maybe have been inactive for years are now being activated and helpful. Um, oh, Belle and Bloom said collagen helped thicken her hair up some. Okay. MSM can as well. But definitely, I would definitely say if you're looking for individual strands that might be thicker, like if you're having fine hair, again, henna, cassia, and ziziphus powder. Oh, sweet lady said, reminder about the giveaway. Yes, because my brain that fast. I started talking about it and then I forgot. All right. So if you're wondering what she's talking about, um, for whoever's participating in the challenge, I'm picking 2 people every week, one person from Instagram and one person from YouTube under the last video to win a product. So, and this week was the Ayurvedic oil. So let me just go to the hashtag now. Okay. I am going to just scroll. All right, wherever I land is where I land. I'm doing Okay. Oh, it's funny. So this is actually Ebony Knapp's her sister is participating. But her sister doesn't have an Instagram, so she posted her sister. So her sister wins for this week from Instagram. But let me go to YouTube real quick and pick a winner for YouTube. Now, I can actually do I can put YouTube into a thing because there's way more comments on YouTube in that last video. Share. Comment. Picker. YouTube. Okay, so let me see. So this hot Ross. I'm seeing more results from the teas I spray on my scalp morning and night. That's awesome. Teas are a great option. Teas are a great option. Needham says I've dried used tea herbs, ground them, and added them to cleansing herbs. Oh, that's a really good alternative. I was gonna say you did grounding them up. That's what I was worried about because I was like, I know some of those teas, in the tea bags, those herbs are actually not ground, and so that would be a pain to get out of your hair. Let me tell you. All right, let me just post this. Filter duplicate. Get YouTube comments. Oh, Naturally Nika is the winner. Oh, I don't know if you can. I don't know why my camera is not loving me, but you can see her picture here. So Naturally Nika, you won. I don't know if you're still in the chat, girl, but you won for this week. So I will be sending you an infused oil. So I will message Ebony Naps on Instagram and Naturally Nika if she's in here. If not, I'll message her as well. Both of y'all won the oils for this week. Just know, you guys, if you guys want to participate in the challenge, you still can by all means. And so this week we'll be talking about cleansers. I'll be focusing on my Ayurvedic shampoo, but I will also be giving you guys some options like aretha, hibiscus, some other type of cleansers that you can use on your hair as well, to cleanse your hair. So congratulations. Oh, okay, Nika, you're still here. Hey girl, yes, you won. That's awesome. All right, so let me scroll back up really quickly. See if I missed anything. Collagen has helped thicken my hair. Also taking vitamins help. Ma'am, can you tell me some tricks with coconut oil for hair, ma'am? I don't know any tricks with coconut oil, but you can infuse Ayurvedic herbs into your coconut oil. If you're wanting to like get thicker hair, you can infuse like maybe henna into your coconut oil. Again, fenugreek, cassia, amla powder, brahmi. Those are great herbs. Hibiscus, into your coconut oil, and then use that and oil your scalp down. Okay. Sun is hot Ross says, I'm seeing those same half an inch around my hairline edges area. I think they call it peach fuzz. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely happened. I'm telling you, when I first switched over, like pretty exclusively to Ayurveda, like my hair was so much thicker. Like all of a sudden my roots were like this 1 inch a layer of things. And I was just like, wow, did I have that many hair follicles that weren't maybe functioning? Like, were they dead? Like, that was very interesting to watch. And I think a lot of people say they experienced that when they first switch over to a full Ayurvedic regimen. Or even if it's not a full one, just a more regular use of using those herbs. So, Tajane says doing a henna treatment right now. Loving this conversation. Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you. And awesome to your henna treatment, girl. um, oh snap. Yeah, girl. You can just email me your address, Naturally Nika, and I'll get you some products shipped out. I've been using collagen for years now. I have a video on my channel talking more about my experience with it. Wonderful. Thank you, Boo. You're welcome. Congratulations. Deborah says, wow, I'm so late. I had Zoom service. Did the doggy make his appearance yet? I love your hair, by the way, Deborah. No, my dog is being a bum today. He's actually laid out. He has his bed and he does not want to be bothered today. I don't know why. He doesn't love me today. No. He was literally laid in my lap earlier this morning, like all this morning. And when I got up, he was kind of upset. But then he just stayed laying down. He didn't even come in here with me. Let me see. P. Jones. Oh, and you know what? He did come in earlier because I was eating. He came in earlier, tried to get some food from me, and then he left and went back out. So he's a user. It's okay, I still love him. P. Jones says my herbs are in powder form. Okay, that's good. The herbs are powder. Okay, no. Sorry, what were we talking about? Is there anything herbs in it? Okay, so if your herbs are in powder form, sorry, I had to go back up and see what we were talking about. Maybe you can pop the bag open and then use that and brew it into like add a mix to your to whatever mask or deep conditioner that you're using. Now again, I would separate that out into a separate container before adding it to your deep conditioner. So add a scoop or two into like a bowl or whatever and then apply that to your hair. If they're fully strained, you know what I mean? Like I said, some powders can be a pain to get out. Um, Tajane says coffee is good for strengthening if you don't mind the temporary dye. Yeah, coffee is great. I actually have a video about coffee, henna and coffee. I actually love if I'm looking for like a darker, richer hair color because y'all, I use henna, pretty extensively. My hair ranges from reddish highlights to brown to I don't know. If I'm looking for like a dark chocolate, I will just use a cup of coffee into my henna. You can use it to any type of herbs. It doesn't have to be henna, but I know henna because it has like binding properties. It makes it a more chocolatier, browner color if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. Ken kind of says, can I use coconut oil before I shampoo like mask? Yes, you can. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that in this week's Tip Tuesday because we're going to be talking about shampoo and shampoo like cleansing treatments. Coconut oil is really great to help prevent hair growth fatigue, which means like from the water that enters your hair that's swelling and closing, opening and closing can cause hair growth fatigue. So coconut oil can be used as a pre-poo treatment. Um, so yeah, do you have to ingest the herbs or just use them on your hair? So it's completely up to you. I do take some herbs internally. I don't know. In this video we haven't kind of talked about it, or in this live we kind of haven't talked about it, but I have iron anemia. So I do take herbs internally. But for a long time prior to that I was just using them, pretty much extensively on my hair. But some people like to drink, teas, and I do like teas as well. But like there's like a moringa tea, there's hibiscus tea, there's tons and tons of tea. So you can take them that way. I eat a lot of stuff that has turmeric in it. Turmeric's really great for anti-inflammatory properties. Internally, not every herb can you eat, I believe. And so I do think that, you want to make sure that you do your research before consuming them. But things that are already formally made in teas is meant for the purpose of that. But still be careful, especially if you have like high blood pressure, like diabetes. There are some herbs that you want to avoid. So definitely be careful. All right. Tiffany, I started retaining more length when I started using more natural ingredients / making my own products. Yes, same. It's so funny, Tiffany, you say that because there is this I forget her name on Instagram, but it was like she always, there are people who always gonna tell you about yourself. She always would be like, "Oh, your hair look dry today." Be like, "Oh, thank you," right? But she literally told me that once she saw me using Ayurvedic herbs regularly, the health of my hair changed drastically, right? And she does hair. She's a beautician and she has her own salon. So she literally was like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. She's like, your hair is looking amazing. Like I feel like if there's ever a moment where I needed someone to check me, she gonna check me. That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you have relationships like that with people. So I do agree. I think that I retain the most length this way. Now I just have to keep the scissors out of my hair, and I probably would have a lot more length, but it's fine. Like I'm okay with my hair. Like I said, I think once it's been natural for so long, and once I learned that my hair is gonna grow back and that my hair is healthy, and I know how to make it healthy, and I know how to keep it moisturized and strengthened and all that. That fear of trimming and fear of cutting just went right out the window, and now I have to reel it in, just reel it in a little bit, okay? And yeah, so naturally, Nika says Night is amazing. Night is a spoiled brat, okay? Let me tell you, he is spoiled. Spoiled. Yesterday, my husband came home and I was laying on the couch and Night was laying across me and we were both watching TV and Night was snoring on my lap. Well, I was watching TV. he was snoring in my lap. My husband he was like, "Y'all two are a mess." Like he's like, "Y'all are like inseparable." That is like my child. Like that's my baby. But when when he's over me, he just like he's laid out right now. Like whatever, I'm living my best life. Um, Kankobo says, "Man, where are you from? I really want to meet with you. You are really very experienced. Thank you." Oh, I'm actually in the States. I'm in Philly. I do online Zoom consultations. I'm starting that kind of back up off and on. I know I was like hesitant to do that, but I think I'm going to start that up occasionally. I probably will set like one day and get a couple consultations done. It may not be all the time, but I do want to have a little bit because I feel like my DMs right now are so full of people asking me so many questions from formulating to hair care to this and that. And it's like, I'm trying to manage everything. And so, yeah, if you want to schedule a Zoom consultation with me, we probably can do that via email. So you can email me at NowIamNappy@gmail.com. Did that work? Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, Deborah says, I know that in some countries, folks use dye made from fruits to dye fabrics, etc. Do you know any way to dye gray hair using the same method? So I know how to dye the hair using indigo. I actually have, it's actually in that. I have a thing over here on the wall. I actually have quite a few, and I probably should look at how long I've had that. But indigo, I have a video on this actually. Indigo used in conjunction with henna, right? And you can dye your hairs black. That's the only dye I know right now, like for sure, for sure. So you'll do the henna first, and the henna is basically it opens the cuticles and allows the indigo to bind to the cuticles to get that black color. Um, so right now, that's the only color I know for sure, for sure. I know how to make your hair a bit redder from henna. If you want like a brighter red, there's like first of all, there's a red Raj henna that has some of the highest uh, loss and dye content in it. So you get the richest reddish color probably you've ever seen. It's absolutely beautiful. You can also add like hibiscus to it to help make it a richer, redder color. And then outside of that, like I said, I think adding coffee to your henna can help make it a chocolatier color. But if you want that black color, you have to use indigo, but you have to use it in conjunction with henna, and you have to use it within 3 days of doing a henna treatment. So 72 hours. Otherwise, the indigo won't bind to the hair, and it will oh, just be a waste of time, basically. Um, and indigo, and I have a video about it. So it's like henna indigo. I think that's what the video's titled or something, or dye your hair black. I forget. But it's on my channel if you really want to know. But that's it. I don't know if anyone has any other ways to naturally dye their hair. I feel free to drop it in the chat. Tiffany says, I've been taking ashwagandha internally, no benefits yet since I just started. Okay, be patient. I feel like, I mean, I noticed. Are you taking ashwagandha? Sorry, I'm thinking multiple things. Are you taking ashwagandha for like anxiety and to lower stress? Because that's why I take ashwagandha. And for me, honestly, I feel like it helps like right away. And I know like if you take it like continually and multiple times, like it will help to like build up in your system because it is a adaptogenic herb. Sorry, my brain was like, what is it? It's an adaptogenic herb, so it will work, more and more over time. But are you using it for those particular purposes, Tiffany? Sorry. Um, Naturally, Nika says, I've heard if you add cinnamon to henna, you get brown. Have you heard of that? I have heard of cinnamon, but I can't remember what color. It probably is brown. Like a sandy brown, are they saying, Nika? I have heard adding cinnamon to henna, but I can't remember what color they said it was for. Sandy says, I use chemical hair dye like L'Oreal and made my hair wavy when wet. Kinked up dry. Started using henna, big thickness texture between the roots ends. Cut out the chemical hair dye now. My hair is an afro puff, even wet. Does chemical dye loosen curls kinks? Oh, so chemical dyes can. Some of the chemicals in and it's I don't know every particular chemical, but some of the chemicals in the dyes can actually loosen your hair texture. So that is 100% possible. Um, just know that any dye is basically, I'm trying to think of the most non-chemical chemistry science way to say this. Uh, just know dyes basically change the entire structure of your hair. Um, in order to impart that color, okay? So when you do that process, you're stripping almost some of your hair down. So it definitely will cause, you can definitely in that process lose some of the texture of your hair from it because it's basically like stripping the cuticles down and changing the structure of your hair um, to then impart a color to it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yes, it's definitely possible. Um, Thank you for the indigo tip. I will try it. I love black. I'll look for your video. Okay, yeah, stress. Okay, Tiff, yeah. So yeah, I would definitely be patient. Also, I think the more you take it, the more it'll be in your system and the more benefits you can get over time. Cut out the chemical hair dye. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think it was a sandy brown, yes. I read that cinnamon can lighten hair. Yeah, I have, yeah. I think it is, yeah. I definitely, I haven't tried it and I don't necessarily know if I know anybody who's particularly used it to lighten their hair, but like I said, I've seen like you can mix different things with henna to get like lighter colors. But I don't know about cinnamon. I haven't used it. And Needham says she's read that cinnamon can lighten hair. So yeah. Yeah. Chamomile, calendula, lemon powder can lighten hair. Tajane, I heard it can lighten hair if your hair's already lighter. Like if your hair's like in the blonde or like the grayish maybe tones. But it can sometimes cause like a yellowish tint. So if you have a gray hair, I wouldn't maybe use some of those. But yeah, there's a natural substance called polygonum that's supposed to dye your hair black. I just heard about it. More research required. Interesting. There's actually uh, who told me? Somebody emailed me. Someone messaged me about this product for gray people who have graying hair, and I think with like Gravers, it's a peptide that basically reverses gray hair. Um, and it was formulated somewhere in the UK. I don't think it's even made it to the US yet, but they have a patent for it and everything. And it's chemically shown to actually reverse gray hair. And it's very, very interesting. Let me tell you, this person sent it to me. She was like, I just want to send this out here. I know you're doing research. And I spent the whole night reading and learning about this peptide, y'all. I gotta stop. Like I have to sleep sometimes. But it's really fascinating that this peptide basically you apply it to your hair and it's like over time, people's super gray hair and it was like darker, darker, darker. Eventually your hair is supposed to return all the way back to its natural color. Very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Um, but yeah, sorry, that was a total tangent. I'll definitely look up polygonum too as well, Paulette. It's very interesting to me. Sun is Hot Raw says, can you explain the difference between dead and dormant follicles and can we get new follicles? Okay. So dead follicles from what we've seen in research, unfortunately cannot grow new hair strands. So like you see men who are bald and they're permanently bald, right? They never can grow new hair strands. Their hair follicles are what they consider dead, and at that point they can't be regenerated. Dormant follicles, which I would say is what a lot of us tend to have off and on throughout the years, maybe stress, hormones, vitamin deficiencies, bad hair care practices, can lead to dormant hair follicles, which means that currently there may not be any hair strands in there, but that follicle is still receiving like blood flow and nutrients. And so the possibility for hair to regrow is still possible and still can happen. And actually, they were saying, and it's not just with everybody's a case, but like amla powder has been shown scientifically to be able to stimulate hair follicles in people with male and female pattern baldness. So if your follicles are not completely dead, but they're dormant, and which means they're still receiving some type of nutrients and blood flow, and you start using amla, Brahmi, saw palmetto, bringraj, and I think burdock root. You can help to re-stimulate hair growth in those hair follicles. So that's why people can say, "Oh, my hair is thicker, my hair is denser," once I started using herbs, and it's possible because those dormant follicles can now have enough nutrients to continue growing and actually grow hair, right? And they just didn't have it before for either internal or external reasons. Okay, and can you get new hair follicles? No. Whatever hair follicles you're born with is what you have. You can't grow more, which is why I tell people like your hair can't necessarily thicken up in that sense because you're not going to grow more. Whatever you have, you were born with, that's how many you have. Unfortunately, like I said, over time, sometimes, like I said, hormonal vitamin deficiencies, bad hair care practices, we can cause them to go dead, or I should say dormant, okay? And dormancy can lead to dead hair follicles. Usually that's what happens. Usually they become dormant and then they eventually die off, right? Because they stop getting blood circulation, blood supply, nutrients, and eventually they die. Which is why some people can regrow their hair after some time, right? There's telogen effluvium, which is basically the stress related hair loss, where people they'll go through a stressful event and they'll have bald patches in their hair, right? And then once that stressful event is over and they kind of get their body regulated in some form, their hair will start growing back, right? So there are different types of hair fall. We have talked about in our lives before about CCCA, which is that central one that happens for a lot of Black women in the center of their hair. We've talked about how that could be from vitamin deficiencies, hair fall, sun damage, like a number of causes a number of issues. But the problem is if you don't catch it early enough, right, and you don't get those follicles regenerated and starting to grow hair again, it can lead to permanent damage, and that's those dead follicles. That means there's nothing that you can do at that point from what they know about in science. I should say this because the nutrients are gone, the blood flow is gone, that follicle is not going to grow any more hair. So I hope that helps to explain a little bit. mm. Sanzello says, oh wait, I missed the one before that. Mixing amla and fenugreek, does that help with gray hair? Yes, amla is really great for gray hair. Are you saying to like prevent gray hair? Amla is great for helping to prevent gray hair, but so is one of the great herbs for to helping like slow down gray hair is called Jadasmanzi. I have a video on it, but I'll type that in the chat because it's a weird Jadasmanzi. Jadamanzi. It's that or that. I'm sorry. I think it's Jadasmanzi. It's one of those. If you look on my YouTube for that, you'll be able to see where did I click? Oh, here we go. The video about that. But amla, I would do like amla and Jadasmanzi. Those are great for helping to slow down hair fall. I mean hair fall, gray hair strands. Okay, and Ella says, hi there, your videos are life, girl. I started incorporating curly leaves in every part of my regimen and my gray hair is slowly vanishing, becoming darker. Awesome, awesome. That's really great. I'm so glad to be part of your hair journey, girl. Southern Jadamonte. Okay, thank you, Cinzello. So true. Southern girl, so true. Okay. All right, let's see. The curry leaves help with gray hair. Yeah, curry does actually help with gray hair, curry leaves. I actually have not done a video on it. I've done a lot of research about curry, and I don't know why I have not ever done a video on it. Maybe it's time. But does anyone else have any more questions or anything else? I'd be happy to answer. If not, you know I'm about to go record for Tip Tuesday. I'll give you a few seconds here. Which is why it'd be important to have scalp examination to see if it can grow back or not before we start our journey. I definitely think that's why I always recommend Sun is Hot Raw to go to a dermatologist and find out for sure. Yeah. I definitely am an advocate for, going to a doctor. They're there for a reason. You're definitely there for a reason. And to find out sometimes, like we've talked about, and I love, not that I love that it's happening, but I love to hear when you guys come back and you tell me that you talked to your doctor and you found out the internal cause for what's causing your hair fall or scalp issues and stuff, because it really a lot of times is internal. So yeah. Is olive oil and coconut oil redundant when mixing together? No, it's not redundant. Um, Coconut oil is more penetrating than olive oil. I mean, it really depends on why you're using it, but they're not redundant. They're two different oils with two different benefits. Needham says also nettle or sage with gray hair. Can't remember which. It's probably nettle, but I don't know. Maybe it's both. Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember either. Southern girls, I have massive breakage from stylist combing my hair from root. Any recommendations to remedy? Um, I'm going. Is it okay? Is it breakage from like because it's dry and they're just like combing and combing and combing like that? Well, number one, stop going to the stylists that are combing your hair rough. If you're having severe breakage when they're just combing it, then it should stop once they stop. But if your breakage is due to other factors, along with like them combing, like dryness and maybe not enough protein, I'm not sure, but I would definitely recommend starting with maybe like a deep conditioner. And if your hair is like severely breaking still, then use a protein treatment. Do a protein treatment and try to get your hair together and stop going to stylists that comb your hair from root to tip. Sorry, my brain was just like, what? My brain was like, woo, brain freeze. Yeah, and stop going to stylists that do that to your hair. So deep condition it. See, heavily deep condition. Oh, so just while combing, yeah, it should then probably stop once that stops. But deep condition your hair really well. Make sure you're moisturizing your hair afterwards very well as well. Okay, and just if you are going to go to a stylist, make sure you find a stylist that is going to do what's right for your hair and not just give you a style, right? It's actually one of the big reasons why I stopped going to some stylists. Well, I haven't been to a stylist in years now. I don't like how rough they are with my hair, and I think a lot of people have this misconception that because you have natural hair that it can just take whatever, and I have very fine strands and you cannot just do whatever to my hair strands. They will break, right? And so that rough excessive combing, y'all know I don't comb my hair very regularly. I comb my hair minimally. I finger detangle almost exclusively and try to just maybe comb every 4 to 6 weeks um, to make sure it's, thoroughly detangled. But even then, I always start from the bottom. I always make sure I have my deep conditioner in my hair. It has so much slip in it. And I work my way from the bottom to the top. And if you can't find if your stylist won't do that, then you have to find another stylist that is willing to work with your hair, because there's no way for your hair, like, our hair's not meant to just be like comb like that. It's not. No, no, no. Find a new stylist, unfortunately, or talk to your stylist and tell them like my hair needs to be combed from the tip to the root slowly with conditioner, or you know what I mean. Like if you can't work that out, then it might be done. Time to let go. Faith, how do you incorporate it in your hair regimen? How do you use it? My husband is graying earlier than expected. Yeah, it's just combing. Okay. Faith, I'm money. I make a hair oil with curry leaves. Yeah. Thinks that's is new for me. I'm done with my stylist. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Jules Hunter says about the polygonum. I think it's polygonum multiflorum. There are 130 different. Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to look it up probably as soon as this live is done. Sandy Maxey says, I've been using Rastol and bentonite clay to wash my hair exclusively. Do I need to use a regular shampoo? I would use a regular shampoo like at least once a month. Sandy, I would. Latonya, really enjoy your content. Are you related to a love for me? You two look alike. No, I'm not. I don't even know who that is. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't think so. Naturally, Nika, I already read the comment. I won't repeat it because she retracted it, but I'm cracking up because I already read it. Oh man. All right, you guys. Let me know if you guys have anything else, any other questions. I'm about to sign off. I'm about to go drink some more water and then start filming again. All right. Sweet lady. You saw that too, sweet lady. Yeah. All right, yeah. So we'll wrap this up. Thank you, sweet lady, for moderating. She just said, ladies, join us next week, week 5. We'll discuss Ayurvedic cleansing of the hair scalp. Have a one amazing week. Paulette says, great chat. Love your channel. Excellent info and content as usual. Bye. Bye, ladies. Thanks, Danae. I'll see you. Thank you, love. Have a good one. Have a good evening, everyone. All right. You're welcome. Paulette Thompson said, share the joke. If naturally Nika want to share it, I'm going to let her share it. Oh, man. Have a good one, ladies.